So we're living in this house now, and we have literally nothing in it. Our stuff will be coming. It's going to come. We have a love seat that we got from, where's Eileen? Eileen and Sue, they gave us this love seat that goes back, which is lovely. And we have two Tommy Bahama chairs from the beach days, two 4-foot Costco tables, and 4 chairs. That's all we have in this house. There's nothing else in there. And the truth is, and 2 beds, two blow-up beds. The hippie days always come in handy. You can always make it work on the floor if you have to, blow them up. And the truth is, I really want to love it just the way it is. Because the stuff's going to come. Masson's going to unload the stuff, you know? The stuff is going to come. And then there'll be more stuff. And I'll want more stuff. I know that about me. So I want to enjoy what there is now. The open Zen space of nothing in the house. It's really quite wonderful. Yeah, there it is. It's enough. I wanted the house, and now I have the house. And now the furniture comes, and now I want different furniture. Just to notice that. One of my favorite exercises when we used to live in Seattle was when we lived right next to Costco when we were in Shoreline. You could literally see Costco outside of our window. Costs. In the summertime you couldn't, but during the winter you could see Costco. We could walk to Costco. So one of my favorite exercises in mindfulness training and watching Moreness is I'd get a cart and I'd walk through every single aisle in Costco, slowly and mindfully, and watch myself being pulled towards. And we made pretty good money then. We could have bought a lot of stuff, you know? I was like being pulled to the next thing. And my spiritual exercise was to leave Costco after an hour of mindfully walking through and buy nothing. Just to be aware that I could do that. That I didn't need anything. It was a spiritual practice, and it was a real tough one to do that. Oh, I did get the $2 pizza. I mean, how can you pass that? You gotta get a slice of that pizza. It's delicious. So, you know, just to challenge yourself, to be aware, to be aware, to be aware. We are probably going to get the great gift of going to Hawaii in Thanksgiving time. Our daughter has some extra mileage, and she may be sending it to us to go see our grandson, who we haven't seen for a long time. So we'll be doing that. And one thing that's interesting about Hawaii, you know, we lived there for 11 years, is that when you go there, when I go there, if it's during whale season, it's really a disturbing visit for me. Because I love to whale watch and get on the kayak and go watch whales. And I find that when the whales are out there during that particular season, I'm not present with my family. Because I'm always looking to the next spout or the whale out there. So part of me wants to get out in the kayak, which is my part to do, and be out there chasing a whale. And you can't chase an animal that can go 25 miles an hour with a half a mile an hour rowing. But a part of me wants to be out there. So I watch that tendency. And what I've learned over the years of doing kayaking and just being present with whale watching is there's no chasing after them. What I do is, and this is your part now, because you do have a part to play. We have 25% of the spiritual path is our own effort, 25% the work of our teachers, 50% grace. You do your 25% part, your affirmations, your denials, you're working with your spiritual practices, doing journaling, whatever it is that you do that, that's your part. So I take the kayak out of the basement, it's kind of heavy, and I walk it, and I put it in the water, and I paddle out. And what I do is I go out to where the wind and the current is just about right. I go out about a half a mile, and then I put the paddle down. That was my work, to get out there and paddle. It's my part to do that. You got to do your paddling part, that's your work. And then just sit and be present. And float in with the current and the wind moving. Not chasing after anything, but just being settled and present right where you are. And an amazing thing happens after a couple of days. When I finally really settle down, a miracle happens. And that's the sound of the sound of a blowhole half a mile away. The sound of a blowhole 10 feet away. When I stop chasing after something, it comes to me. Do you feel that? And the more settled I am, and I've done my work, I prepared myself, I'm in good physical, spiritual shape for this. I've done my part, and then there's a part where you stop. You pause, you wait, and you allow it to be. There's a great story about a master who had students come to him. And one student said, "Master, isn't the path the way of affirmations and denials and constantly working with thinking positive thoughts and working with your mind and doing the work you have to do, otherwise the mind just becomes crazy? Isn't it about taking hold of that crazy part of your mind? And isn't that what it's about?" And the master said, "Ah, absolutely." And the second student comes up, "Master, isn't the way of my efforting to make something happen, isn't that the way of the ego, and it's just going to create more delusional consciousness and more stuff I have to work through later on? Isn't the way really about surrender, letting go, and not my will but thine be done?" And the master says, "You're absolutely right." And the third student says, "How can they both be right?" And he goes, "You're absolutely right." It isn't one or the other. It isn't sitting on your dust saying, "I surrender to God, and I don't have to do anything." You do. Buying a house has been interesting for us. We looked at 88 houses over the last year. 88 houses. Poor Dick Beals, our realtor, just like, "Oh my God, here they come again." And we had a deal. If I didn't like the house, it was out. If Maureen didn't like the house, it was out. If we both did, well, then we would say yes to it. We put 4 different offers in the homes. A lot of you were saying, "You guys are too picky." We put offers in. We did. We did our part. It was real hard when an offer would go in and then come back and it wasn't even close to what they wanted to get for it. Although now, 6 months later, I think some of them wish they had, because it already changed already. But there we were doing our part. We're putting our effort into it. And there were moments when you meditate, when you pray, when you do your spiritual work, and you're wondering, when is my whale going to show up on the kayak of my life? I'm ready to say, whoosh, come on already. Enough of this already. You know that feeling? I'm tired of doing all this work. But when do I finally get mine? There were moments at the end of about 11 months where Maureen and I got particularly so whiny about it. I said, "Well, you know what? Maybe we're not even supposed to be here. That's what's going on. God doesn't want us to be here." You know how stupid you get? It's so low. You know, I call it low Monday, about 3 o'clock, when all this energy just goes after all this huge energy on Sunday. And of course that wasn't it either. It was just keep doing your work. Keep reaping and sowing, sowing and reaping, never knowing when the harvest is going to come of all the work that you've been doing. And it isn't one or the other, it's both. It's both. It's both. So after the Transcenders were here, and I think I explained to some of the board members and a few key people who work on the staff, after the Transcenders Sunday, for some reason I got in the car, and I'm blessing, I'm usually really tired on Sunday, and I said, "Let's go look at houses." So we went, that's enough already, I'm trying to get you want to get to the picnic, stop sneezing. Less. And so we went and looked at houses. Maureen was really surprised. And we went by this one neighborhood we've been in a million times, and there was a new house, a brand new house, just got listed, and I went, "That's the house." And Maureen says, "You have done that 24 times already." You say this all the time, and I said, "No, I really feel like it is." That night, that Sunday night, I was walking by a home that had just been sold, and the family had just moved in, a man and a woman. And I'm not a voyeur, don't worry about me staring in your windows. But I looked in, so I'm looking at houses, and the couple is in there, and the boxes are all around them in the kitchen, and they're giving each other that kiss that says, "It's ours. I'm home." You know that feeling? You know? It's mine by birthright. I'm home, that kiss of the beloved. And I said to myself, that's going to be us really soon. And I went and told Maureen that story. Literally, and you know this is true, Jim, we told you this, literally, next day look at the house. Next day put an offer on it. Next day counter offer. Next day the house was ours. It happened in 4 days. That's how quickly it came together. But it took a year's worth of work. Myrtle Fillmore didn't heal herself instantly of tuberculosis. She worked with affirmations for 2 years before she got healed. So be patient with yourself. Do your work. Don't be sloppy. Don't be lazy. And know when it's time to put down the oars and be present. So let me go take a look at our lesson summation and we can get to the picnic. Because I want some of that potato salad. I can just taste that macaroni. Stop. This is directly from Lynn's book. It's a wonderful book. If you want to pick it up, it'll be a great addition to your practice. The Religion of Moreness. Once we define our world as deficient, the total of our life energy and everything we think and everything we say and everything we do particularly around money, becomes an expression of an effort to overcome the sense of lack and fear of losing to others or being left out. The guy kept saying, God keeps saying to you, I'm going to fill the bowl back up. That was the funniest part to me. I'm going to give you more money. I'll double what's in there. And here's the adults who should know better. Nobody heard that. I'm giving it to you now. You're hearing it now. The bowl will be filled back up. You don't need to worry about being left out. 2, the religion of Moreness drives our competitive culture of accumulation, acquisition, and greed that only heightens fears and quickens the pace of the race, always chasing after something that never seems to show up. And point number 3, here it comes. Point number 3. Truth, which is what we're doing here, at least once a week, we consider that this might be a possibility. It's good that we have at least one day a week where we put at least 23 minutes into this, right? Truth, because the rest just happens on automatic. Truth gently invites us to take the pause that refreshes. There is more to life than merely increasing its speed. Mahatma Gandhi said that. It's not about needing something more, but subtracting out those mental items that distract us from being grateful for what we have. Yeah, that's what we'll do. So for a few moments, let's close our eyes and close them together and just get a feel for what we have been chasing after. Wanting more and thinking more is the answer. Well, the truth is more is just more. And if more of not enough is all you want, well, you just keep getting more proof that it won't be enough. Enough of the madness already. I am enough right where I stand. More is just more. A deepening of the practice of the presence allows us to settle into and on top of this ocean consciousness where most of us just spend time at the surface, speeding around in our jet skis, being busier and busier. When the truth calls us to back off the throttle, to slow down, to float on the presence, and feel what's right beneath us, the ocean of blessing that wants to bless us with what we need, who we need, when we need it. And then when the whoosh happens, we don't miss it. Here I am. I love you. Fear not. It is the Father's good pleasure to give you the treasure of this awareness. May you find ways to embrace that this week as we practice awakening together. Namaste.